I'm going back several months that I've been saying that the top presidential candidate would be RFK Jr. Now, RFK Jr. is starting to do some tweets. And I think he's setting the stage to go center stage in the race for the White House coming up next year. Or, as I call it, the presidential reality show. Media's playing it down big time. Number one, they don't want to say that I called it. And number two, why don't you just report that he's running without putting all the bullshit in there? Why? Because we're prostitutes. We're media whores that get paid to put out by our corporate pimps and our government masters. The U.S. comes in 8 on the UN's Human Development Index, which measures living conditions, healthcare systems, educational attainment, housing, cultural and recreational facilities, and level of public safety. The Heritage Foundation, a self-proclaimed conservative group, ranks America 12th in economic freedom, and the World Economic Forum ranks the U.S. 47th among the world's most competitive economies. And it dropped from first to 5th in information technology. So much about the banter about the U.S. leading in that field. The Organization for Economic and Community Development, OECD, says American students rank behind industrialized and advanced nations when it comes to math, science, and literacy, and ranks the U.S. 10th in the percentage of adults with high school degrees. The gap between the rich and the poor is the widest in the U.S. of any of the industrialized nations. The top trends of 2023, and here are just some of them. Market meltdown, aging power, dirty cash to digital trash, AI, we own you, climate change, going green, like it or not, the good, the bad, and the ugly about it, office building bust, college crash, anti-war movement, war and hate, anti-immigration, anti-establishment, new political parties, and the homeless solution. And many of the positive socioeconomic and geopolitical megatrends will be of little value in a climate of endless war and mass destruction. But as we detail with other top trends, the boundless human potential can reverse the negative trends and accentuate the positives, which will make 2023 a year of enlightenment, joy, peace, and beauty. We've only been warning about this, what now? 2 years. Again, the dollar gets stronger. They got all this debt. It's dollar-based. Their currencies are going down. It costs them more dough to pay for their debt. Oh, and as the economy's going down, to make a bad situation worse, we show the socioeconomic and geopolitical implications. You think the refugee problems are bad now? You ain't seen anything yet. More and more people are going to be taking to the streets in protest of lack of basic living standards. Rented homes were supposed to be the safest nook in the U.S. real estate market. It's not turning out that way. Rising interest rates are taking the air out of bubbly property values. Apartment prices are down 21% over the past year, according to the Green Street Commercial Property Price Index. You know who's the worst performing? Real estate offices. No kidding. Only said this was going to happen 3 years ago when they locked down everything and people zoomed to work. Didn't commute anymore. It's our top trend, one of them for 2023, office building bust. We're in an economic crisis, I believe is the worst in modern history, with them inflating, artificially pumping up the economy. What are we, over $30 trillion in debt, $31 trillion in debt.
0.5% of Americans own 40% of the country's assets, and 0.1% reaped 43% of the latest round of tax benefits, according to the OECD. The OECD also reports that the United States is now third among the most unequal industrialized societies after Russia and Mexico. I could keep going on, but I'm not going to. America also ranks #1 in prescription drug use, according to the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services. Our debt level is 200% times the gross domestic product. Those are levels worse than during the Depression.
Apartment building sales dropped 74%. Most in 14 years. I mean, the Great Recession. Remember, I kept saying it's going to take time for the effects of interest rates to do their damage. The damage has happened. It's only going to get worse. Small businesses file for bankruptcy at record pace, surpassing COVID crash. Small businesses across the United States are expecting a surge in bankruptcy, surpassing levels not seen since 2020. Note from the UBS Evidence Lab shows private bankruptcy filings in 2023 have exceeded the highest record during the early stages of the COVID pandemic by a considerable amount. Go back to March or April of 2020, just about 3 years ago, we warned of an office building bust. And now it's finally coming out there. They're only 3 years too late, but these are economic experts, so you swallow the shit that they shove down your throat when they're ready to shove it down your throat. And we've been covering this month after month, agency after agency. It's one big club and you ain't in it. They know what's going on. They're making the deals and they're betting the bets and becoming rich doing it, while the rest of us plantation workers on Slavelandia go broke.